What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we're going to talk about the things that people love about Arizona. What do they love about living in Arizona? Why does someone like the desert? Why does someone like living in a place where the summers are so hot? What is it about this place that gets people excited? And that's what we took to a poll in our group, Living in Arizona, on Facebook, and we said, hey, to all you guys out here who live in Arizona, what do you love the most? And I'm going to tell you about the things right off the top, what are some of the things they already said. So if you're excited about this video, crush up the likes. If you're new to this channel, Living in Arizona, you can also subscribe and keep up with us and turn on the bell to get notified when we do these live streams, which gives you an opportunity to ask a bunch of questions. So the top three things that is really the consensus that really comes up the most. Number one is the weather. People like that sunshine. They call us they say that Phoenix, Arizona is like the sunniest big city in America. And actually, the sunniest city in the world is in Yuma, Arizona. So if you love sunshine, which I think a lot more people love sunshine than snow, Arizona is going to be the place for you. And you're going to agree that Arizona is a great place. Now, another thing that people really like about Arizona is the scenery. You'll hear this more often than not, that people just will be driving up from Phoenix up into the high country, and they'll just, for lack of a better word, be breathless. They're left with it's breathtaking. Literally, I've had people tell me, "Oh my gosh, that takes my breath away." And Arizona has this great wide open space. You know, if you look at a map of America, say you look at the East Coast, east of the Mississippi, and then you see west of the Mississippi, you'll notice there's a lot more lights on the east side of America than there is in the west side of America. So whereas in the East Coast, you can get some wilderness and you can get some wide open spaces, but not like what you get out west. And Arizona is one of those states that's not very densely populated. There's only a couple states that are more densely popular or less densely populated than Arizona, those being Montana, Wyoming, Idaho. It's hard to tell if Colorado and Utah are up there, but maybe New Mexico is a little more wide open than Arizona, but still, you're going to get a lot of wide open space. So the scenery that we have here, everything from the mountains to the deserts to Sedona, Grand Canyon. I mean, that's just the stuff that you guys know about that's mainstream. That's not even including the stuff that's off the beaten path, like Fossil Creek, Oak Creek Canyon, stuff like that just blows people away left and right. And so the third thing that I think most commonly came up in our poll, I mean, I didn't count it out on the third one, but I know that weather and scenery were the top two reasons people really love living here and visiting here and want to move here. The third thing was the sunsets. So people really enjoy that time at night when after a long day's work, they go out in their backyard, they do a barbecue, they just sit around and have maybe a cocktail or a glass of wine or whatever they like to do, a cup of water, who knows. They just like going out back and seeing the fire in the sky that we get a few nights out of the month. We still get nice sunsets, but every couple days in a month, maybe 2 or 3 days in a month, you'll get those really bright pink, purple, orange skies that just light up the sky like a fireball. And we even get that in the mornings. Occasionally you'll see morning shots of sunrise in Arizona that is just like, whoa, what is going on out there? Some other things that have come up, and I'm going to start rattling off a long list now as we keep going. But one of the things that I think people really like is, they call Montana big sky country. Arizona is kind of like big sky. You get a lot of stars in some areas. Like out here in Queen Creek, you look up in the night sky, you see Orion, you see Virgo, at least this time of the year. But the sky really opens up. And one of the things I like to do is go out in my backyard at night and sit in my jacuzzi, and I can see all of the stars. And that's pretty fun, actually. It's really nice to have that. And so if you're living in an urban area, you won't quite see that many stars like you do in a rural area like Queen Creek or maybe one of the other suburbs like North Scottsdale or even North Phoenix. So if you get a chance and you like looking up at the stars, keep in mind moving out to the rural areas, the suburbs is going to give you that opportunity. Whereas if you're in the urban areas, there's going to be a lot of light pollution blocking out your connectivity with all those stars. So some of the other things that have come up quite frequently is the food. So people really like the food out here, especially the Mexican food. But we get a nice variety of steak. If you're into steakhouses, But the Mexican food, I mean, there's so many different types of burritos. I think people, when they move here from back east or the Midwest, they know there's a lot of pizza. You know, they know there's deep dish, there's thick crust, thin crust, blah blah blah. But they don't realize how many types of burritos you can get, and Arizona is going to be able to bring those to you, whether it be the Baja Southwestern burrito from the Baja coast, or a cuisine that's, say, the California burrito. I'll ask this question: do any of you guys know what's in the California burrito? Now you're going to say, "Well, I don't want a California burrito." Think again. The California burrito actually originates in our sister or brother city, which I consider our sister city, San Diego from Phoenix. So if you want to know the other sister cities, I would say our sister cities are San Diego, not LA really, Las Vegas, and Albuquerque. So you could maybe throw in, no, I wouldn't throw in Salt Lake, and I wouldn't throw in Denver into that mix, although Denver kind of, but really San Diego and Las Vegas are like the three amigos, you know. But the California burrito comes from San Diego, and if you get a chance when you come out here, try to order one of those. Another thing that comes up quite a bit has to do with the weather, but it's the monsoon season. People really like the monsoon, the drama that the monsoon season, the thunder, the lightning, just the way it lights up the skies and all that. And one of the phenomena that people kind of like, at least from a distance, is called a haboob. You don't see them every single year, but when they come, they're like these big rolling things of dirt. In fact, they only look cool when you look back on them, but when you're actually in a haboob, you're kind of like, damn, what in the heck is going on here, honey? You know. Another thing that they like that's related to the weather is the diversity. So you can get snow over here, you get you know, nice lakes and all that stuff. But I don't know if you guys know this, but Arizona can actually have the hottest place in America and the coldest place in America in the same day. So, you know, it's quite interesting to hear that, because, you know, that's kind of, it is interesting, isn't it? So let's see here. Let's see. The history is another thing that people like. They like the history. They like to know about the shootout at OK Corral. They like to know about Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp. We've already talked about that down at Tombstone. They like to know about the history of Bisbee, the mining history. They like to know about the history of the Spanish who once occupied this area. Before them was another great deal of history, which is the Native Americans. You have Tonto National Monument, which is a big cliff dwelling. You have Montezuma's Castle, which is out there on the Verde River. You have Tuzagut. You have Canyon de Chelly. So you have a lot of Native American history, and you have the Navajos, the Hopis, Apaches, Geronimo, Cochise, all these Native Americans that lived here. In fact, if you really want to get deep into the Native American history, I recommend you going up to the Four Corners. The Four Corners is the Navajo Nation, Navajo Reservation. But even eastern Arizona, you have Chiricahuas. You have quite a bit of great history out on eastern Arizona. So from Phoenix, you go through Globe, and then you just come into Cochise County and that area. Okay, so there's a great deal of history here. We also had John Wayne. If you guys know about John Wayne, he spent a lot of time in Arizona. He even had a ranch up in a place called Eager, Springerville and Eager. It's out there by the New Mexico kind of. So I'm going to take some questions here as I continue to throw out some more things on there. But I told you guys I would answer some questions, so go ahead and fire them at me. Thanks to the 20 people who already crushed up the likes. Let's see here. Have you ever seen a snake in your backyard in Santan Valley? No, but they do exist out here in Santan Valley. It's just I'm in like an urban community, but it's still like separated by plots of land and desert in between Phoenix and Santan Valley. But snakes do exist, but no, I have not seen a snake, thankfully. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I mean, it depends on how hungry they get. You know, they might come up and start looking for field mouses or something. Do the home prices in the 55 plus communities mirror the outside homes when they elevate in price? Do the home prices, I've seen home prices in like mobile home communities to be really reasonably priced. Like I want to say like maybe $129,000. I think I've even seen them for less. Just these, they're you know, these, what do they call them? Single units, mobile homes. I mean, that's what they're called, right? But I made a video going through a mobile home park in Casa Grande where I don't know if you guys went on the channel, but if you go on this channel to the homepage, just type in, search this channel, and you'll see 55 plus mobile home parks. And I have a couple of videos on here discussing specifically that topic. And I drove through one in, because keep in mind, if you're not 55 plus, you shouldn't be in there really. But we had to ask permission at the front gate. So that's why I don't do too many of them. Benjamin Wilson, is valley fever a big concern for a newcomer? Wow. Yeah, that virus. Okay, I've heard people say they've got it, they've had it, this and that. I grew up in Arizona, for the first 20 years of my life, and I never knew anyone who had it, but maybe they did have it and they didn't know it. But we always knew, valley fever was a thing. But I would say if you're one of those type of people who's like super afraid of coronavirus, you're probably going to be like scared of valley fever. But if you're one of those types of people who's like, hey man, the flu exists, these things exist, HIV, AIDS, MRSA, all these different diseases exist, you're going to be like, valley fever is going to be one of those other many myriads of things that you could catch. E. coli, salmonella. I mean, the list goes on. Streptococcus. I mean, if you live in fear of disease and virus all the time, you're never going to go anywhere. You're just going to stay put, right? So my overall answer to that would be it's no different than any other threat that exists. There's another virus out there called hantavirus. I mean, I guess valley fever exists. I still have, to this day, have not known people who've had, I still haven't known anyone who's had it, but I've heard people say they've had it and their dog has had it and this and that. I don't know. Valley fever is like it's like a dust spore that's in the like when there's a big wall of dust, there can be little spores in there and it gets into your lungs. It's like a respiratory sickness. DJ Ramirez says, "What's up, Jeff? Is it still possible to get a remote call center position? I realize there is a lot of credit card call centers in Phoenix. Thoughts?" Well, as you know, a lot of business, the economy in general in America is going to change. I don't know if it's going to go back to exactly how it was. So, I mean, to answer how it was, 3 months ago, and then say this is how it's going to be 3 months from now, I have no freaking clue. I would say that the big thing that I've learned is jobs that you can do working from home are hot. Those are like seeming to be like that's going to be the next big wave. Because I think airlines used to get a lot of traffic from companies who would send their employees to go, say, to San Francisco to go cut a business deal or someplace. And now they're having to use this thing called Zoom and conference calling. And I've noticed Amazon's now got one. I know Skype has one. Zoom Technologies has one. And this seems to be like something that's going to be really popular, is working from home. So, what can you do from home? Well, anything. You can really do any meeting from home. So call centers, I think they still have a utility. I would say that I would be surprised if call centers last for very much longer, because I think as automation on the internet comes along, the call center thing just kind of goes away, especially as automation on the internet becomes more of a thing. Thanks to the 27 people who crushed up the likes. I got more comments, but good question, man. I think if you want a job in Arizona, I think if you want to move to Arizona, and the job thing should shake out its own. It should just evolve for you. I'd be surprised if it doesn't. I mean, you can get a job out here. I mean, I don't know your situation. I don't know your level of education, but I'd say there should be jobs here at some point, unless the economy just stays in the pooper. Dave Johnson, are casinos or retail stores open yet? No, we're still in quarantine. We're still in mandatory stay-at-home orders. I don't know if you guys watch the news, but they're trying to open up the state, state by state, and they want to do it by May 1st. Texas, supposedly, as I heard today, was going to be the first state that was going to open. But you know how Texas is; they're really brave and bold. I've seen all sorts of different things on the internet. I've seen people who say that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, is to open up the country, and then I've heard people say, "Hey, let's go, let's do this. If you're scared of the virus, stay at home." I don't know. I have no idea what to say. I'm not a doctor. I just know that we shut our economy down for quite a long time, and no matter what, whether we prolong it or take our time, it's still got to happen. It's still got to happen. And if you're one of those people who wants to wait another year for a vaccine, then just stay at home and wait for that vaccine to come out before you actually fully get back into society. But the rest of the people who want to get back out there and do things, sounds like they're ready to go. They want to get back to building things. They want to get back to serving food, and they want to get back to their earning their own income. That's what I hear. But the casinos are not open yet. Do you think the Phoenix area will have less of a hit to the housing market compared to some other areas? As before we went into this COVID thing, before we went into it, there was a housing shortage. We had too many people trying to move here and not enough accommodations, not enough homes. I mean, we were the fastest growing city in America, Phoenix here. I think Arizona is one of the fastest growing states in and of itself. And they couldn't build them fast enough. And I mean, there was a building boom all the way from Buckeye all the way up to Surprise and Peoria, out here in Queen Creek, Santan Valley. I mean, they built one of the largest master plan communities out there in Mesa, Eastmark. I mean, there was so much development going on, and it still couldn't keep up with all the Canadians and the people from back east, New York and Boston, Chicago. They were all moving here. They're like, get me out of this cold. I want to get out of Siberia. I want to get out of this frozen tundra. I want to get into a place that's got some beautiful weather and sunsets. And then the idea obviously came up, well, does Arizona have enough water supply to accommodate all these people that are coming in? And so I would say that during the shutdown, I have noticed the construction has not stopped. So they've had a chance to actually catch up, believe it or not. So hopefully the housing market picks right. You know, it's all good, right? Dan and Sam, Monster Mike TV. How's the job market for natural gas utilities in Arizona? Probably pretty good. That seems like a pretty good industry. I don't know, though. I don't work in that specific industry, but it seems like it's good. People are unlisting homes as they don't want showings. Yeah, I've heard that people were, I did hear that people were, stepping out of their escrow. They entered into escrow. There was a little bit of this interesting stuff that had taken place where people had signed up to buy a home. And then as COVID-19 kicked in and they thought the market was going to go down, they were like, hey, can I stop this? And maybe in 2 months when the price goes down, can I re-enter? But once you sign a contract, you're locked in. I mean, so it's people having a little bit of buyer's remorse because they bought it. They signed up in January. And then by March, we were in COVID-19 and they were trying to get out of it so they could get it on the decline because, but they want half a dozen of one and, they just want to get a good deal. Everyone wants to get a good deal, right? So who can blame them? Steve says, is Apache Junction a nice place to retire? It is a nice place to retire. It's really beautiful up there. And actually, right out of Apache Junction, you take that up, you're going to Canyon Lake, you're going to Roosevelt Lake, you're going up to Pumpkin Center, you're going up to Globe Miami, Superstition Mountains, Tortilla Flats. I mean, it's a good place to be really rural, but it is a little bit, desert ratish, as they would like to say. Desert rat is basically a desert redneck. There might be people firing off shotguns at 7:00 at night and drinking Coors Light 2 houses down. And you might be like, hey, honey, what's that noise out there? And they're like, oh, it's just Jebediah shooting off his shotguns again and blowing up propane tanks. Who knows? Tara Nair says, we all love your vlogs. Take care, bro. Thank you. Roll Pilot 116. What is the best sunrise sunset view? So the other night we had this big thing. It was like a supermoon, right? And the supermoon was, where the moon is the closest to the earth that it is. And it only happens like once every 12 months or something. And I saw people out in West Phoenix on I-17 going up there, up by, what is that? Happy Valley Road. They were going up on those mountains. They go up on Pinnacle Peak. And they really love to snap pictures of that supermoon rising over the Superstition Mountains. You can also get a really good shot rising over, McDowell Mountain. So, I mean, there's a lot of different places out there. I'll tell you that much. Living Vividly says, do you think local companies will implement working from home long-term? Do you think this will help with traffic? Well, Arizona is a Republican state, and so far, the Republicans have resisted the lockdowns more so than the Democrat states. Democrat states seem to be more in line with lockdowns and shutdowns, whereas Arizona being a Democrat state, Governor Doug Ducey appears to want to get things up and going again because he's a Republican. And, whereas the Democrat states like New York and California, they're going to be having a little bit more of the stricter things where, like, a lot of the Democrat states were doing checkpoints where they were stopping you, making sure you have your mask on. The Republican states like Arizona, for example, haven't done any of that. And if they have, I haven't seen any of it. So I'm not saying hey, look, I don't know what's better, but well, maybe I do. I know what I like, but I don't know what's better. You know, I don't think anyone's going to know until the data comes out. Monster Mike TV says, smash up the like button for the man. Thank you. 41 people already smashed up the likes. Raven says, some are insisting that when showing a home, anyone visits the home, they are to wear a mask and gloves. Yeah, I mean, when I do go to Walmart, for example, even Costco, you know, you'll see some crazy outfits. I mean, I've seen people wearing masks. I've seen like crazy masks, like, you know, like milk cartons over their face, weird things, you know. Gloves, like all types of different gloves. I've seen people wear gloves and then you know, be standing in line, take off their glove with their hand. And I'm like, well, what's the point in wearing the glove if you're going to take the glove off with your hand, you know, wearing a mechanic's glove? So it's just like, maybe the people are doing it. They're going through the steps, but they're not practicing the proper PPE. Who knows? Hey, Michelle, how's it going? Mary Beth says, AT&T call center has people working from home now. Okay, that's interesting. Jack says, is Encanto Village a safe area? Young professional thinking of acquiring a duplex in the area, originally from the East Coast. Encanto Village is a modestly good area. It's kind of close to the Arizona State Fairgrounds. That area right there is not considered. That area, Encanto Village, is a safe pocket inside of a fairly unstable area. I guess it would be comparison. I guess you could compare it to LA next to the airport. You know, it's kind of like one of those areas. It's just like being in downtown, like you're really close to downtown, but you're just outside on the fringe kind of thing. So you don't get the homeless populations like you get in the downtown area, but you still get like pockets of like crime and stuff. But Encanto Village is going to be one of the safer areas in that place. If you're also looking at other places, check out Biltmore and Arcadia in that same area. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys, I also made a video. I don't know if you guys have heard about survival prepping, but I've been doing that probably for the last quite a bit of time here. But I did make a video about a bug out bag, in case you guys don't know what a bug out bag is. But I made it specific to Arizona. It's just on my other channel. Let me show you guys. So a bug out bag is basically if things hit the fan, what you do is you have this bag. It's a 72-hour bag. It's like a 72-hour survival bag. And so let me just show you guys this this video here. You guys can save it if you just click on it and then save it and come back to this video. But that's a bug out bag specific to living in Phoenix. You know, everything from a first aid kit to self-defense weapons, things that you would need for 72 hours in the event of civil unrest or in the event of rolling blackouts or whatever. Now, obviously, that's a tinfoil hat scenario. Is it likely that it's going to happen? Who the heck knows? Anything's possible. But, you know, if civil unrest, food shortages and whatnot were to happen, you would want a bug out bag. That's what that video is about. It's about a survival kit all in one bag, like what you would need in Phoenix, Arizona for that. And especially with summer coming up, I tailored it to Phoenix, Arizona's bug out bag. So if you guys check that link right there, I'll post it one more time. That's what that's about. Tonio says, does your dog ever pick at your garden, say finding missing strawberries? Yes, he does. Well, he doesn't pick at it as much as he used to. What he has done is, like, if my neighbors are on the other side of the yard shooting hoops or playing in the pool, he'll like just go back and forth up and down the fence line, and he kind of jumps in those that little box that I have, and he like jumps in there trying to like jump up there. And so sometimes I'll see like the plants that were in there kind of just tore up, and I'll be like, no. Michelle says, do you have a rodent problem with your veg garden? Not anymore, believe it or not. I used to have a rodent problem. I used to get little field mouse, and they would nibble at my lettuce. What I do have right now, more than rodent problem, is bugs. So on my broccoli, for example, each vegetable, oddly enough, attracts a different type of bug. Like my artichoke plant attracts these little bugs. They kind of look like ladybugs, but they're not. My broccoli plants attract these little green bugs, and I don't know what the heck the deal is with that, but I've got to make an all-natural solution to get rid of those bugs. So But they're not. I don't really have a problem with those pest bugs on other plants like I do on broccoli and the artichokes. But I do get fruit flies, unfortunately, especially this time of year. There's a lot of fruit flies, and there is some other like ants. I get ants. Ants are really annoying. ET says, it looks like you got a haircut. Where'd you go? My friend cut it for me. Tangible investments. Like it up. Arizona is still great. Thank you. Oh, crush up the likes. Tempe is cheaper to live in than Phoenix. Yeah, baby. Okay. I mean, it just depends. What you know, what do you like? What do you like? Michelle says, we have a pest spray company. Hope that helps. Yeah, sure. You can give a shout out to the pest spray company if you want to give them a shout out, since they do a good job for you. I'll say it out loud so people know. Rosa Moreno says, hi, Jeff. Moving to Phoenix in June from Vegas. Why is downtown apartments so dang expensive? Zip codes 85004 and 85003. Have no clue where I'm going to live. Well, if you are looking for a downtown environment and you don't want to pay a lot, I guess you could, well, there's a couple downtown areas that you could check out, but they're all going to probably be expensive if you consider downtown Phoenix to be expensive. But downtown Tempe is where the college kids are. You know, you're going to get like college dormitory type apartments. You have downtown Chandler, which you could also check that out. I would check out Ahwatukee. You're not going to be downtown, but it's close enough to everything that, you know, Ahwatukee is a great solution. I still recommend Ahwatukee every time. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to back down from that one either. Miranda Garcia, is Tulsa a nice place to live? It's actually, to be completely honest with you, it's ranked the most dangerous place in Arizona. At least that's what I saw. And I'm not trying, I mean, I'm being honest with you, right? Let me see. I think Paulison is the most dangerous city in Arizona. Actually, the most dangerous place right now is Globe. Number 2 is Tolleson. So Tolleson is the most dangerous suburb or neighborhood in Phoenix. I'm just being honest with you. I mean, I've been down to Tolleson. I mean, I used to go down there and shoot hoops and stuff like that because I worked for a school furnishing company when I was in high school, and my friend's dad, his mom lived down there, and we would, you know, stay at his mom's hotel or apartment down there. And you know, it's just what you'd expect. I mean, you get just a unique blend of characters. You know, you'd be out there shooting hoops with all types of different people, nice people, cranky people, fighters. You know, it's Tolleson for you. It's tough. It's a hard knock neighborhood. I mean, what do you expect in a tough neighborhood? JC, for me, wide open sunshine. It's one thing to be able to go outside, but where outside? AZ has views. Yeah, I mean, we've got tons of views. If you've been in Phoenix this whole time and you haven't seen views, just get on the Beeline Highway, go from Phoenix to Payson. And then when you get to Payson, take the route, go from Payson through Pine and Strawberry, okay? And then come down into Camp Verde, and then go around that little area of the Verde Valley into Sedona. Make that a day trip if you want, or you take your time. I'm just saying. I mean, you make that trip, you're going to start to realize there's a lot of places to see just in that little route right there. That's not even going up into Flagstaff and Oak Creek Canyon and stuff, or even Canyon de Chelly in northern Arizona where Monument Valley is, or even southern Arizona where Mount Lemmon is, and even eastern Arizona into the Chiricahua. So I mean, there's just too many places. Oh my gosh! If you're living in Arizona and you think it's boring, it's because you haven't gone out of the city. You start going out of the city, you're going to start being like, "Whoa, there's a lot of places I need to explore." That's what you're going to feel like. I mean, I could just go on and on and on and on and tell you all the places you need to explore. If you guys want me to make a video specifically about all the places you need to try to explore when you come here, let me know. Salt River Gorge is awesome. Yeah, Gila River. The Gila River Gorge is awesome. The Verde Valley. You could take the. I don't know. A lot of you know this, but you can actually tube down the Verde River from Camp Verde all the way into Phoenix. Now it's going to take a couple days, maybe 2 days. because you're tubing down the Verde. But a lot of people don't do that. But OGs will do that. I say OGs is like original original Arizona locals who are kind of gutsy. But there's also a lot of trails back there. You take your Razor, you take your off-road vehicle, your Jeep, whatever you like, and you just cruise up the. You'll go across the place like Skull Mesa. You'll go past Sheep's Crossing, Bloody Basin, and then you'll end up out in no man's land. So I mean, there's tons of places. A lot of people, when they hear the name Bloody Basin, they're like, "Oh my God, why did it get that name?" And then they got another place called Skull Mesa. Let's just put it like this: nature out there is a very strong thing. Nature. The high desert out there is very strong. I mean, you've got all types of different bees. You've got rattlesnakes. You've got coyotes, pumas. I mean, it's just a lot of nature out there in that area. It's wild, very wild. I could do that, Monica. It's going to take a while, but I could probably go a cappella. But you guys, when I do that, you guys are going to need to get out your pen and paper because you're going to have to do the research afterwards because I'm going to do a live stream. I mean, I guess I could do a screen share though. Eric Gamma says, I just moved to Goodyear from SoCal. Lots of bang for your buck. They're building like crazy here. Yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to tell people is everyone thinks that like because of COVID-19, Arizona housing market is going to crash and they can wait a couple more weeks or whatever. But it's like, well, I don't know. They just seem to keep on building with no stopping. Like right now, it seems like they're taking this opportunity to keep on building. So either the builders know something we don't know, or they just got enough confidence to say, just keep on letting this baby boom. Boom, baby, boom. That's what they're doing. I'm telling you guys, man. Shami says, what is the hot spots in AZ? Well, you want the secret spots or what? Or you want the like the spots that the locals know about? I told you guys about this one place called the Bumblebee. Next time you're up in Black Canyon City, you're off to the left. There's this place called the Bumblebee. If you go off the Bumblebee, you'll come into like the Bradshaws. There's a place up there at the top of the mountain called Crown King. From Crown King, you can see south is Lake Pleasant towards Peoria. But if you go north, you're going towards Prescott. You can actually drive that dirt road, and it's really thick, dense forest, and it's pretty much wide open space. It's really a good drive to do. So there's one right there. I just told you guys about the drive to Payson, all through Pine and Strawberry over to Camp Verde. Camp Verde is kind of lame, but if you go on the other side of Camp Verde, you're going to come up onto like Tuzagoot, Cottonwood. Tuzagoot's a Native American reservation right there. But you go beyond Tuzagoot along the Verde, you come to like Jerome, Eager, or not Eager, Cornville. Cornville. Who wants to go to Cornville? There's another place called Clarkdale. Those are all places like back in the 90s. They were really like Jebediah was going to be out there with a shotgun blowing up propane tanks kind of stuff. Mary Beth says Crown King is great. Yeah, Crown King is one of those towns. You go up to Crown King, you blink, you might miss it. They got like a general store. They got like a campground, and that's about it. Some cabins and a fire department. That's all I know about Crown King. But no, Crown King, like just going up there is pretty cool. But that's in the Bradshaw Mountains right there. There's bugs. See these little bugs in here. Anyways, guys, thanks for crushing up the likes. 56 of you did it. Watch that other video about Phoenix, Arizona bug out bag, your 72-hour survival kit. Even if you don't subscribe to the idea that you're going to need a 72-hour survival kit or a bug out bag, you can still watch and get some ideas of some things that you may need around the house in the event that you have to stay in your house and not necessarily go out on foot because of a zombie apocalypse. A bug out bag is for extremists who really think that the zombie apocalypse is coming. They're going to have, a machete on one arm, a K-bar Marine Corps knife on one arm, a shotgun strap or a AK-47 or something on their back. Well, you can't have an AK-47, but AR-15, and then they're going to have a backpack filled with all types of survival gear. That's what a bug out bag is. But like I said, what's going to be in that video is going to show you some of the stuff that you might need around the house, whether it be for self-defense or for, if the grid goes out or civil unrest is happening around you. So at least check that out. Mary Beth says Lynx Lake in Prescott. There you go. Lynx Lake. From Lynx Lake, you go north and you go up into Chino Valley. Chino Valley, that drive in between Prescott and Chino Valley is a pretty nice drive. But then when you get up north in Chino Valley, you're like, okay, time to turn around, or should I keep on going? Well, if you keep on going, you start heading towards Williams. So anyways, it's cool, guys. All right. Well, we'll see you on the next video. And thanks to 58 people who crushed up the likes.